Yeah, very good question. Successive approximations, it's we want to sensitize the group that we engage in structured democratic dialogue, that the knowledge that is being generated through group work and through group interaction is happening not instantaneously. It happens by iterations, by just learning and learning and learning and learning, and to essentially try to disengage them from the preoccupation that they know the answer already instantaneously, that they know the answer. We have to discover together by successive approximations what is the truth, if you like. And we talk about the truth as being the outcome of repeated deliberations and learning together and the dialogue and all the interactions that take place. And the reason we recognize that we have to do that because the SDD is particularly appropriate and it should be utilized for what we call situational complexity. And situational complexity emerges when groups get together. That's when the phenomenon emerges. It does not emerge if people are not together. It happens through what we call the cybernetic embedding. And what is the cybernetic embedding, which I've mentioned before? Now, let me elaborate on that. The cybernetic embedding is what happens. The science of cybernetics has made a distinction between what they call first order, second order, and third order cybernetic. First order is when an observer observes an object. This is really what happens in engineering, in physics, in biology. We make observations of phenomena or objects. So an observer makes an observation. Second order is when an observer observes another observer. So that's the second order or cybernetic. And the third order is what happens really when we are doing collaboratories, is when we have observers observing the observations of other observers. That's what happens. We just get them together and we say, what's your observation? What's your observation? And then we are listening to other observers, and those observations need to be internalized, clarified, and in order to do that, it takes time, it takes the capacity to create a climate in which we won't get the answer instantaneously. It has to happen through successive iterations, successive approximations, and by learning through iterations, or what Warfield called, and I use that word from him, he called it literation, learning through iteration, literation.